If you are planning a trip to Lake Atitlan, Guatemala, especially if you're staying in Panajachel, this is an activity that you should absolutely check out. I'm going to give you all the details to the 4-hour ATV tour to a couple of different cities around the island. Well, technically they're towns, but I'm going to give you all the details. This is where I booked my tour. It's called Simon. I actually booked through Viator and it was a really affordable tour. Some were a little pricey. It's a cute space. They had a little waiting area. They even sold merch, and all you have to do is sign some consent forms. They do want you to have your driver's license. And once it's time for your tour to start, you will get a brief explanation. It feels really quick considering you're going to be driving a vehicle with no seatbelt, but it's a very thorough explanation, and the English is perfect. If you have questions, they definitely welcome them. After driving about 15 to 20 minutes, we were in Santa Catarina, Palopo, and this is the colorful town. If you've done any research and you see all the colors, this is that town. It's such a cute, vibrant space, and it's actually done by a museum that goes and paints all of the houses annually to keep the colors vibrant, and it's really increased tourism. It was really cool because we got a little bit of history with our tour, including this Cafe Tuk. This is where they took us and explained to us about the local organic coffee beans that they grow and how they make their cold brew. We were told about the entire process and then given the chance to go ahead and purchase a nice little drink. I'm a colors person, and all these vibrant colors were giving me life. I absolutely loved it. And once we got inside, we were all able to order. There was art from wall to wall, and then a little bit of merch that was also sold. I tried the cold brew with milk, and then I had a little pastry, which was like a croissant with cardamom, so it was a sweet taste. It was actually really good and something I had never tried before. Cardamom's not as popular in the US, and I've seen it so many times since being in Guatemala. After we were finished, we headed back to our ATVs, hopped on them, and we took off for the next city. Say that when we came out, I was a little thrown off because there was not a Pepsi truck when we parked, so it took us a while to find our respective ATVs, but I saw my blue helmet and I knew I had found her. So we hopped on and rode over to San Antonio, Palopo. And one thing I want to note is that if you're thinking about going to the Lake Atitlan area in general, whether you do this tour or not, please, please, please be prepared to walk up and down stairs. The elevation is quite high where the actual homes and businesses are in comparison to the lake. So if you want to be anywhere near the lake, you will be walking. So this was probably 3 to 4 stories down at least. So wear good tennis shoes. Even though you'll be on an ATV, you want to wear something comfortable. Get your socks and your shoes ready because you will be walking. At the end of this tour, my watch clocked that I had done about 5,000 steps. Also keep in mind, because of the elevation, some people did say that they experienced elevation sickness when they first arrived. Not sure why, but I didn't. Thank God. I'll also note that it was about 80 degrees. We did not experience rain. This was early April 2026. I unfortunately forgot my sunglasses, but I was okay because we did have a wind chill, like a windscreen on the helmet. And if you want more information on what I took with me, I do have a video on what I put in my backpack to go for this ride. And at this stop, we got to experience something really cool, which was a little bit of information on how they make the fabrics. So those beautiful, vibrant fabrics that you see her wearing, these are all local customs and traditions stemming back to Mayans and ancient practices. So she showed us how she makes the cotton, takes that cotton from a cotton plant and just stretches it out to make yarn. We had so much respect for her after a few people tried to do the yarn and thread themselves. It was really, really difficult and just so much respect. I mean, how did they even figure this out? It was just amazing. They also showed us how they dyed the colors, and then we had the chance to go and do a little bit of shopping. These dolls were so cute just because of what they were wearing. I know they were just old dolls with Mayan outfits, but they were so cute. I was really tempted to buy one. I've also seen these everywhere. I'm not 100% sure what they are, but they remind me of like a tortilla warmer. There were so many cute little trinkets and things everywhere, and I really, really appreciated that everywhere we went, there was no pressure to buy anything, and the tour guide also made sure to let us know there was no pressure. But if there was something that we liked, of course, we're free to buy it, but there was no pressure. I was even offered to get to dress in the traditional Mayan attire and to be able to take pictures completely for free. Of course, being an American, I was so afraid that they were going to try to charge me after, but it was completely free. And the hospitality and just kindness of the Guatemalan people is very unique. And I really appreciated that. And as soon as we walked out, we had these beautiful views of the mountains and volcanoes around the lake. We also got a lot of downtime just to kind of hang out while the other people within the group did a little bit of shopping. It was such a laid back experience. I really did appreciate it, but you do have to be careful and watch your step. As you can see, there are no guardrails, so you really want to watch where you're stepping. It was important for me to get that in the video just to show you what that looks like. And if you're thinking about going and you have any sort of mobility issues, this may not be the tour for you, or at least ask about accommodations to make sure that you stay safe. And if you're wondering who the person is in front of me, that was actually a vendor, like a street vendor, just selling things. And again, there was no pressure. He offered me some purses. I declined, and he was very respectful, and I really appreciated that. The next stop along our way was to a ceramic factory, and I was really, really excited to check this out because I really appreciate like ancient cultures and traditions that have lasted throughout time, and I was so excited for this. I've tried ceramic classes around LA and all my things come out unidentifiable because it's really, really difficult to actually make anything using ceramics. They didn't have like a spinning wheel or anything like that. He showed us how they made everything and asked if we had questions. I told him I did, and I asked how long this practice had been in place. He explained to me that all these beautiful hand painted items that you see were actually the work of somebody from Missouri in the United States who brought this practice to Guatemala in this business in the 1980s. So basically, the practice is as old as me, and I don't like to think of myself as ancient. And here he is, the person who founded the business. I was a little disappointed. And next, we went to the chocolate factory, which my disappointment went right out the window. And I was so excited. I've never actually seen how we go from cacao beans to chocolate, the chocolate we know and love. We were given a brief history of chocolate in the region and told about how the process actually works. We actually got to hold the cocoa plant and like shake it, and it reminds you of like a maraca or something with the beans inside. It was really, really informative. We got to taste it. Our tour guide opened up the beans for us, let us try it. They're so bitter, and I don't even know how somebody ever thought to put sugar with them and make it something amazing. But I really loved how hands-on this was. He actually showed us how they grind it down and make it into a paste. And then he came around and let everybody try some of it. And yeah, it tasted healthy. So all those health benefits they say that cacao has, I believe it. There is nothing sweet about it. It's very bitter. It's almost like chewing up a coffee bean. I've never done that, but I'm assuming. And then the best part, well, almost the best part, was that we all got to try samples. So there I am with my hand out, waiting for my sample. So we did 100% all the way down to 50% and then white chocolate. Then we finished it off with some chocolate rum. Now, I am not a shot taker, but I was down to do this with this group because we had bonded over time, and it was such a great tour. Highly recommend. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down below.